introduce you to another familiar face and certainly a familiar voice to all of you. He's your chairperson of today. He's just made his way down from the ARN studios in Dubai Studio City, where he hosts a daily business breakfast show on Dubai Eye 103.8. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcome on stage Mr. Richard Dean.
Thanks, Wouter. Appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me back. So, selling from the floor this year on Cityscape, Wouter. Big move, bold move. We should be watching closely to see how that one works out. Cracking program that Wouter and the team have put together today. Let's jump straight into it. Talking about one of the hot button issues within this industry. It is regulation. Please join me and give a very warm Cityscape welcome to discuss the regulatory landscape, innovation, initiatives, and the investment roadmap. The Chief Executive Officer of the Real Estate Regulatory Agency in Dubai Land Department, His Excellency Marwan bin Ghalita. Your Excellency, join me, please. Have a seat there. Nice to see you, sir. In case you need that. So this morning on the radio show that Wouter mentioned, obviously we're talking about real estate and Cityscape, and there's one statistic that's stuck in my mind, if I can read it to you. It's from the research that YouGov and Cityscape did. And it is that of investors, real estate investors targeting the Middle East, 69% say that Dubai is their preferred market in the Middle East. That's even higher than last year, just a little bit higher. And what they said was regulation and trust are a big part of that. So what have you been doing over the past year since we last met here to reinforce that trust in the Dubai real estate market?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning for all of you. Good to be back, Richard. And it looks like it was a couple of months ago. It's not a year already. And the same crowd, mashallah, and Dubai is growing faster and faster. The survey that you talked about, I can summarize it in one slide. Last year, when I was here, we used to have 204 nationalities investing in Dubai. As I just drive this morning from my office, it's increased to 209. That means we have succeeded in the new trust of more nationalities that investing in Dubai within 1 year. Believing in the Dubai market and the advantage that they are getting, the rules and regulations, is making this number solid for us. That means we are moving forward in a natural growth and sustaining our trust and sustainability in the market. And this is what's giving us confidence that we are working for the happiness of all Dubai and UAE investors.
Well, let's unpick that and look at some of the specific things that you've been looking at over the past 12 months. And there are, at least 4 or 5 of them. There were the regulations on advertising, which was interesting. There have been the emergence of more and more REITs, real estate trusts. There's been technology. For you, just summarize what have been the major developments, and then let's look at them in a bit more detail.
As you know, Richard, since 2007, we've been putting the pillars for the market. And since that day, we've been always introducing new services, new technologies, new rules and regulations, and watching out with the market, with our stakeholders, what is required to be improved, and we see what's going wrong in the market. That's why we go and fix it. In terms of regulations, our study shows that we in real demand for a REITs regulation. We do have a couple of REITs already in the market, but we have signed 2 MOUs, one with the IFC, one with NASDAQ, that all REITs need to be regulated and registered with the Land Department, and it's an open platform for everybody. The first REIT we used to have in our market, it was regulated through a special degree. But now we are introducing a law where all REITs can be registered with the Land Department, even if it's listed REIT or closed REITs. This will boost the industry. It will give more confidence to more institutional investors to come to the UAE and start investing more and more. We have a new policy. It will be represented to the Executive Council this month, after it will First, we'll present it to the Economical Committee, then to the Executive Council. Hopefully, it will be passed, and soon we will see the new regulation for the REITs. The second, it's about timeshare. This industry is booming in Dubai. We've been watching the industry for the last 5 to 6 years. There used to be regulations for it, just process or decrees issued by land department here and there. Now it's the time to have a complete law and regulation for the timeshare. Dubai becoming attractive for all kinds of citizens, and the products that been introduced by the developer today, most of it is for vacation use or leisure homes. So the requirement of timeshare regulation is very important. The third law that we are introducing, it's not a new law, it's an enhancement on the existing law. It's regarding the owner association and managing the common areas in all the facilities in Dubai. We are putting 3 types of regulations for the master developer, big mega project, and for the medium project, and for standalone building. We are distinguishing between each services that require to be done by the developer for the common area. Then land department is introducing new things to fasten the legal process, which is the mediation center. That will accommodate most of the cases, which is nowadays we see it's dropping, but introducing the mediation center, it will enhance the process of litigation here in the UAE.
So if we look at some of those in a bit more detail, and one thing I'm picking up on is that you're having to work with other regulators. Take REITs, for example. You cannot do it all. Obviously, there is a big real estate element in REITs, but there's also finance and financial markets, so you're working with the markets there and those regulators. You talked about timeshare, which immediately makes us think of things like Airbnb and the sharing economy. Now, I know, for example, that DTCM, Department of Tourism, Commerce, Marketing, are looking at this, but again, there will be some regulatory overlap as new industries emerge. How are you approaching this?
We always work with our stakeholders. We don't work alone. Like the timeshare, it will be implemented, it will be regulated, and it will be overseen by the tourism department. We will take the registration part of it of the property, because as you know, you cannot leave all Dubai's becoming a timeshare units, because some of the investors are purchasing those units to live in. So all the apartment will be distinguished and marked as a timeshare, so the investor in advance, he knows this property contains a timeshare property. This kind of regulation that will be done by us, all the registration of the units, the building specification, the database aspect of the real estate, it will be done by the land department. Regarding the REITs, there was an obstacle regarding the transaction fee, because you cannot imagine if I will invest in a REIT and every time I will be paying 4% to just enter or exit from a share REIT, it will be very hard to the investor to think about it. So this kind of fees is being waived, new fees is being introduced as a minimum fees to come and enter in a REITs and exit from it. So we are working closely to the associated and stakeholders authority to make it a success and easy on the investor themselves. All of you guys know Dubai is driven by the market itself. What is good for the developer, what's good for the investors, it's good for us, it's good for Dubai. And that's why we accommodate all of this.
Another area where there's regulatory overlap is in mortgages. Reading the YouGov Cityscape study today, still particularly for investors looking to buy a property of about 1 million or 2 million dirhams, the owner-occupiers that you want to be buying property, they say the mortgages are difficult to come by, the deposit we need is quite large. And again, this is a central bank thing. You do not regulate the mortgage market here in the UAE, but of course you have those conversations. Now we see a lot of developers offering developer financing, and they're in some senses beginning to act like banks. To what extent does that fall under the remit of RERA to look at?
As you know, we always speak in our conferences and our exhibition that banks need to be more easy on lending, because this is the fuel of the investment. But on the other hand, we always sit with them, talk to them, find them solutions. The other hand, as you said, Richard, the developers start giving affordable payment plan. They have a monthly detection payment plan. All of this is accommodating within our process in land department. Now, tomorrow, you will be witnessing in Cityscape, the exhibition, the launch of a new مشروعي projects, the progress software, where anybody can go and check his investment within this property. It's already linked to the payment plan that the developer is giving. So every time you do a payment, it will show in your portfolio and you will be monitoring this. Whatever come under our jurisdictions, we try to work with the developer to make it easier on them. With the product that I see in the market today, I see there is a segment of the investor, they don't require bank finance because the developer is doing it for them. They are giving them easy payment plan and it's making it tempting to them to buy with all those schemes that's coming. Our job is to make sure that this product will be delivered. And this is what we are watching now. We are watching heavily all the promises that the developers are giving to the investor in a new launch project. Because thinking about selling the project, those was the old days. It's easy to sell a project 3 years back. But in today's market, you need to show the investor the quality that you are giving them and the value that they are giving you. So we are making sure that all the promised finishings, promised quality, promised payment plan given by the developer is delivered. And this is what we are working heavily on.
Which brings us to the issue of enforcement. What happens when developers don't deliver exactly what they've said, or any other transgression that you may see from RERA-registered brokers? It was one question actually I had this morning over a cup of coffee. Can you ask His Excellency about enforcement?
There is two kinds of promises that the developer can give. In terms of payment plan, in terms of penalties, in terms of registration, we have all the penalties that we can apply to the developer himself. The only thing we just give a report about it and it need to be taken to other jurisdiction is the quality of the product. Through our inspections, we do make sure that the quality is delivered as per the promised. But in terms if there is a dispute in quality, we don't handle that. It should go to the court or to the other department to handle it. But we do put our recommendation, we do put our technical report to support the investor. But in other issues, payment plan, areas, service charge, penalties, we take care of it. If we have any claims or any dispute on it.
Are you seeing many complaints or disputes? Is that accelerating since you started emphasizing this?
At the beginning, if I will say 3 years back, 4 years back, my office used to be full of complaints. But nowadays, maybe I received 2 complaints a month, something like that. And I don't call them complaints because it's like misunderstanding and somebody did not read his contract. Nowadays, I don't face a challenging complaint. It's all been taken care by the team. The team can solve some of the small complaints itself. But what we are watching is, as I told you, delivering what's been promised. We are watching heavily. If any complaints come to us, there is a product on the market is being sold, marketed without your approval. This is a shocking news to me. It's not even a complaint. That means there is something wrong in the system if something like this happens. Other complaints are very minimum complaints because land department is doing a lot of process to make the investor happy, to deliver his title deed, his legal work in a speedy way where he can enjoy his investment.
Let's talk about technology and innovation. Where have you been investing over the past 12 months and what's going to be in your focus over the next 12 months?
Who was here last year? See, it's God's hand. Last year I was talking about be connected. If somebody remember, I was putting all the application that land department introduced and I told you guys be connected to our application. This year, we are talking about more advanced technology, where we are encouraging developers, investors, to use the technology smartly, because we have introduced 3 more softwares that it can give you more decision-making tools to do or to manage your investment. One of them is the investment map that's been enhanced with more data about the market, about the building themselves, and this will give better tools to make a better decision. Second, we have done a new authentication for the title deed. The title deed will be authenticated smartly, so no more paper will be done with land departments. With the blockchain that we have introduced with our stakeholders, all the process will be done automatically, and the title deed will be issued digitally. And this is another thing land department is doing. Artificial learning is something very crucial for us. Tomorrow in the stand, I think you will see how land department use with their strategic partner artificial learning to do an evaluation process, where an investor will go and will use this app and he will get evaluation instantly, and he will know what's the worth of his property. Couple of things we have introduced. By the way, this is the number of investors increased since 2016, our last speech and this speech. So we can see how many people are still believing in the sector and still investing in Dubai. The last technology we are working on, and it's in the pipeline, and I hope I will see it very soon, is the augmented reality, where anybody can scan his mobile phone to any building in Dubai and he get the data of that building. Not only the age of the building, how many units are there, it's the number of occupancy in the building, the number of transactions has been done in this building, all the details that can attract you to invest in a building within Dubai. The people, when they explained it to me, they said, even Marwan, if you have a request in mind and you have put it in your portfolio that I am looking to buy a property in City Walk, for example, and one day you are walking in City Walk, an alert will come to your phone, there is a property within your range for sale in City Walk. This is how they explained it to me. And I think it can be done. It's easy, as long as we are establishing a good, solid database within land department. Yesterday I was in a tour. Usually Saturday I go and I look in the city, how the projects are doing. I was in Business Bay yesterday, and I was with a developer. He showed me his building, and I was amazed. Even a video, I have the video with me. In their building, Richard, they have put an automated software. Nowadays, when you want to do an order or something, you just grab your phone and you do the order, even by call or by internet. They have plugged the system on the unit itself, connected to the shop downstairs, and they can deliver anything to you from just a button. Such a thing, long time we used to think about it, and I said, we only see it in the movies, but this is the reality here in Dubai. The reality that when they explain to me how much energy they can save in this building, this makes me proud, because land department started the initiative on sustainability long time back. And now when a developer talked to me and he said, Marwan, come, if you buy this unit, you will save 25% in energy different than the other building. This is what we want. This is the innovation we are talking about. And with the help of the developers, the architect, this is what we are getting here in Dubai.
A couple of final questions before we wrap up. I was reading the Financial Times over the weekend, and they had a feature on real estate in Dubai. And this is the headline that they had. Dubai property buyers must take care to avoid surprises. And this is what they say. Dubai's residential market has greatly matured since it opened up to foreigners in 2012. And they acknowledge the work of RERA in doing that. But, they say, it still requires careful navigation. And the Financial Times says project delays, disputes over construction quality, facility service fees, and contracts that strongly favor the developer remain significant challenges. I'm wondering how valid do you think those criticisms still are today? And if there is some validity, what can be done to address them?
I can notice 4 good things about this article. I never read it, but good to mention it. First of all, they are saying it's a mature market, which is good. Matures, that means it's good. Second, they are saying it's full of surprises. The way I look at it, yes, we do have surprises that developers launching, creating new innovative projects. And this is what the government also doing, giving us a while a new roads, a new neighborhood is coming. So all those surprises is coming. But it's a good surprise, where if somebody missed buying a property on the Palm a couple of years ago, now he can buy on the new development that Miras is doing. So this is the surprises. I will take it like this. Regarding of rules and regulation, as I said, if any investor just read the contract and read his application, use a legal firm, it will cost him what, 3,000 dirham, 4,000 dirham? I don't know how much lawyers cost nowadays, but it's per hour. To read the contract through a lawyer, it will not cost me more than 3,000 dirham. So it's less than the brokerage fees that I am paying. So once I get a clearance from a lawyer, I will go and invest if I need a lawyer advice. But the way I see it, just read the contract and read your rights and your obligation, and everything will be fine. Nowadays, Richard, developers cannot take money from any investor without completing at least 30% on the site. We are saying 20%. The way I look at it on the data, everybody is reaching 30%. The old days are gone. Everything is secure today. The only thing, as I mentioned, we need to work on it more and more, the quality of the products. And this is what we should look at. The quality of the product that being promised. Other than that, I don't have a single case in my office or with my team, somebody is complaining from a project launched in 2012 that it's not been delivered until now.
So on that, what would be your message to developers about the quality?
We will be watching quality. So any promise you will put in your brochure, make sure that RERA will get back to you for that. We are helping all the developers. We are assisting their projects. We are giving them different kind of guarantees. But we will not compromise on the quality that you are promising the investor. To be frank with you, I had a meeting with a developer the day before yesterday. It was Thursday. He was telling me, I have a scheme to guarantee 10% for the investor as a return. I think it was 9.5%. If I'm not, I think it was 9.5%. I told them you need to put a solid guarantee with us, with the department, that you will guarantee this return to the investor. Otherwise, how we can believe you? It is not an estimated guarantee. He's saying it is guaranteed return on the investment. Nobody can guarantee anything unless he have a backup plan. So my message to the developer, you guys participated in creating this market. This market is being fueled by your project, unique project, the government support and infrastructure, the belief and the trust of the investor. So don't fail Dubai before failing the investor. This is my message.
Just before we wrap up, as Wouter mentioned, there's a change at the Cityscape exhibition tomorrow. People can actually buy villas and apartments on the floor for the first time in a long time. I know you've been watching this closely. How did this come about? How do you feel about this?
The system is being completed. That's why when the people of Cityscape approach us and some of the developer also said we need to sell, we said the system is ready. We can do the blockchain cycles on the spot. So we gave them a permission to sell some of the projects that already been registered with us, and the transaction title will happen on the spot there. So the investor will get his registration on the stand by paying the fees of land department, paying the developer, and our people will be there to watch, because this year we have, I don't want to call them RERA police, but they will be RERA ambassadors to help anybody in Cityscape to answer his question, to guide him, to give him some data, and to refer, to assist him in any kind of information he's required about the real estate. Plus, they will be watching the developers in any wrongdoing transaction.
It's been fascinating talking to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. His Excellency, let's show our appreciation, the CEO of RERA, His Excellency Marwan bin Ghalita. Shukran. Thank you very much indeed, sir.